Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, o kung anong oras mo kayo nanonood ngayon. Isang mapagpalang araw para sa bawat isa. I'm recording this at 12:18 in the morning, no, or madaling araw, in the morning night. No, and today's discussion will be focusing on fourth quarter lessons 2, 3, and 4 na supposedly i-discuss pa natin after ng discussion natin about Asian literature. It's just that we have to shorten the discussion on Asian lit because there are other important things that we need to understand or we need to study, okay, na mabigyang emphasis, no, compared dun sa ating mga um, tag dito, sa Asian discussion, no. Pero that doesn't mean na hindi mahalaga naman yung ating Asian discussion, no. It's just that pwede natin siyang shorten, no, and we're going to focus more on much important information such as the formalism, post-colonial literature, and Marxism, which are first three approaches to literary criticism. Then after this, we have modernism and postmodernism na connected naman sa American and European literature. So this is still part of the Asian literature, no, yung formalism, post-colonial, and Marxism. It's just that mag-focus tayo sa approach, no, sa literary criticism under Asia as a whole. No? Hindi na tayo focus sa iba't ibang mga parts of Asia. No? So in order for us to analyze or interpret a specific literary piece, we have to take note of these four. No? Itong apat na yan, yung nasa gitna. First is para mas maunawaan natin isang literary piece, we focus on beyond the world. No, ibig sabihin, ito yung mga bagay na hindi natin nakikita or na hahawakan physically. Say for example, no, love, peace, freedom, joy, hope. No, these are symbolic archetypal, meaning to say they symbolizes other things. No, say for example, no, the word education. No, it's a symbol, no, or hindi tama, ano daw. Okay, so if say for example, no, education, no, what does education symbolizes? No, it symbolizes knowledge, what else, wisdom, knowing what is right and wrong, and so on and so forth, no. What else, itong beyond the world, this is also psychological, okay, because it's in the mind. What else? Second is real world. Ito yan. Umiikot din yung screen. Hirap mag-ano. Ayan. Ay, oo nga, ayaw. So, umiikot din siya, no? So, yan. Yung pangalawa is real world. Ito yan. Ayaw niya talaga. Hindi, ganito na lang. Ayan, real world. Pangalawa, no? Real world is mimetic. Pag sinabi nating mimetic, no? Ito ay nakikita natin and pwede siya nating gawin or gayahin. Say, for example, no? Pag may i-interpret tayong isang literary piece, no, titingnan natin yung ano ba yung mga bagay na napansin natin or ano yung mga ideologies or hindi ideologies, no, yung mga ideas na nakita natin doon. Say for example, no, cheating, pangodigo or pangopya. Syempre, hindi tayo magpapa-change oil, di ba? Pag sinabi natin papa-change oil, that's beyond the world, that's symbolic archetypal, no? Pero pag sinabi natin cheating, uh, pang-agaw ng asawa or pangangabit, no, kabit serya na pangangabit, no, that's real world, 'di ba? Siguro magandang example na lang siguro yung papa-change oil, no. Pag sinabi natin papa-change oil, that's beyond the world. Pag real world, cheating. Pag sinabi natin work itself, no, work itself, no, i-analyze natin, interpret natin, paano ba nag-cheat, paano ba nangabit, no? So, una, sumakay sa kotse, ayan, alam na alam, 'di ba? Sumakay sa kotse, tas in-screen siya, ay nagpicture, napansin na magkaparehas ng kotse, ganyan. So work itself, no? So maaral din natin yung author's world, no? Sino ba si Ate Girl, no? Sino ba si Kuya, 'di ba? Okay, si Kuya, ano ba pangalan na? Basta sila, no? Author's life, no? Yung buhay. Ito yung mga pinag-aralan natin last time, eh. Yung buhay ng mga taong gumanap, no, or yung nagsulat or gumawa ng action or ng isang literary piece, and yung audience as well as syempre yung critic. Okay? So, ito naman ay psychological in nature pa rin, and most formalist and deconstructionist critics ay ito ang pinagbabasihan, yung work itself. And then last, syempre, is yung other literature, intertextual. Okay, maaral nyo to sa inyong RWS or reading and writing skills. Okay? So again, in order for us to understand a specific literary piece, no, we have to consider these four. So, tandaan natin, no, ulitin natin, example natin, pag natin beyond the world, symbolic, archetypal, ayan. Ang example natin dyan yung, magpapa-change oil. Diba? Pag real world, no, mimetic, anong example natin dyan, no? Cheating. The word cheating. Kasi real world, no, realistically, it happened. It happens. No, work itself, no, paano ba ginawa yung cheating? Paano ba paano ba nag-cheat? Paano ba nagsimula ang lahat ng bagay? No, nagsimula ang lahat ng bagay nung tag dito, naghiwalay. And binalik ang singsing. Mga ganyan. No, and then other literature, intertextual. Okay? So these are the things that we need to consider in order for us to properly critique or analyze or interpret a specific literary piece. Okay? But before we talk about more on this lesson or in this discussion, let's talk about first Asian literature kasi nga ito yung i-skip natin. Now, sabi dyan, Asian literature encompasses the rich and widely diverse cultural and ethnic heritages found in such countries such as China, India, Japan, Vietnam, Korea, because these are huge countries, no? And they play big roles sa mga maliliit pang bansa. Say for example, no, China, nakaapekto yan sa Mongolia, no? Sa Nepal, ano pa? Sa Vietnam, no? Ang India naman, same thing, no? Sa Bhutan, sa Nepal. Kay in Japan, syempre napakaraming mga bansa ang nasakop niyan, no? Including the Philippines and Indonesia, Vietnam, at Korea, syempre Korean War, no? But its technical term, it is basically the literary products made in continent Asia throughout history. So when we say Asia in all its form, ito 'yan. Kabuuan ng Asia, no? And looking at this, ano ba tawag dito? Bullet type of information nakalagay diyan, no? Napakadami ng mga um, literature sa Asia na napaka-diverse. Okay? So, sa East Asian Lit, nandito yung Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and Mongolian. No, yung pinabasa ko sa inyo na poem last time, yung It's a Stony Place. It's a Japanese literature, no? Baga, napakadami. It's very diverse when it comes to themes, yung kanilang mga focus, yung kanilang mga ideologies and whatnot, no, yung kanilang strategies, yung kanilang techniques and styles and whatnot, no. It's very diverse compared to South Asian literature, no. Kabilang dyan yung Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi folk, Sri Lankan, and Bhutanese literature. Okay? Medyo familiar lang tayo pag sinabi nating South Asian literature, no, sa India, mas familiar tayo sa mga Bollywood, no, kung saan ang lahat ng mga palabas nila ay mayroong tugtugan, no, may kanta, no, kung napanood nyo na yung ano bang movie to? Three Idiots, no? May mga kanta, may mga sayawan, ano pa ba? Lately, no, na ni-rewatch ko lang yung isang Indian film. Nakalimutan ko yung title. Ano ba title nun? It talks about a robot na dumating dito sa lupa, no? Tapos ninakaw yung kanyang parang susi, no? Tawag niya doon ay key. No? Tinanggal, ninakaw sa kanya, no? Tapos sinahanap niya ngayon. In order for him to find out nasan yung kanyang susi para siya ay makauwi sa kanilang bayan, sa kanilang kung saan lupalop man siya ng universe nang galing, no? Kailangan niyang i-meet, no, or sundin yung iba't ibang mga Diyos. So he have to follow all the religions of India. No, nandun yung mga Catholic, Hindu, Sikh, ano pa ba? Muslim, and so on and so forth. No, napaka-diverse, no. Doon natin makikita yung diversity of Indian culture and tradition. No, pag naalala ko yung movie, ilalagay ko yan sa comment. Okay? So what else? We have Southeast Asian literature. Ito yung na-discuss natin last week. We have Thai, Philippine, Malaysian, Indonesian, Burmese. no, Vietnamese, Cambodian, and Laotian. For Central Asian, we have Kazakh, Tajik, Uzbek, and Kyrgyz. Ito hindi natin to na-discuss. No? And we have West Asian literature. We have Persian, Arabic, Jewish, and Turkish. Pag sinabi natin West Asian literature, and then ito napanood ko sa inyo to, no? At least somehow mayroon kayong idea, no, about sa West Asian literature. Okay? So these are war zones area, 'di ba? Yung Iran, Iraq, it's found here. What else? Jerusalem is also found here. Ano pa ba? Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is also found here. Persia is found here. So Arab countries, no, sa West Asian. Kaya most of their literature is combination syempre ng mga war-torn experiences and whatnot, as well as syempre yung mga sakupan. And dito rin natin makita yung mga tag dito, yung mga lugar, no, na pinagmula ng napakadaming mga religions or ng mga malalaking religions nowadays. So that is Southeast Asian or that is the entire Asian literature. Okay? So we're not going to discuss this one by one anymore because we no longer have the luxury of time to do it. But instead, what we'll be doing is we'll be heading on towards, no, sa mga bagay or sa mga approaches in order for us to understand a literary piece from Asia. Okay? So first we have Marxism. The founder of the critical concept Marxism is Karl Marx. You have to understand that, and you have to take note of that. No, Karl Marx wanted to understand how the capitalist society works. For whom does it truly work better and worse for and where it would likely lead. So, ang gustong maunawaan ni Karl Marx ay ano? Una, meron dalawang klase ng tao sa society or sa lipunan. We have number one, capitalist or owners of the resource-producing companies. Ito yung mga burgis, ito yung mga kapitalista. Number two, the workers or proletariat. Ito yung mga manggagawa. Now, the workers are the one who works to produce and thus survive. This is where Marxism comes from. It is the analysis of the relationship between these two classes and their struggles with each other. Especially focusing more on the proletariat because they are the ones working, they are the ones surviving. No, ang mga burgis naghihintay lang yan na pumasok ang kayamanan sa kanilang mga bangko, sa kanilang mga account, no? Kasi merong nagtatrabaho para sa kanila. Okay? And those are the proletariat. Next, to Marxism, literature belongs to the superstructure. If you have watched the video that I sent to you, no? Kung pinanood nyo yung video about Marxism dun sa sinend kong link kahapon, no, or syempre kapag ibang araw nyo ito pinanood, hindi na yung kahapon, no, may kita natin doon that Marxism is telling us that a literature, no, is founded on two structure. We have the base, okay, or the reality, and then number two, we have superstructure. Okay, or ito yung mga ideas or ideology. No, pag sinabi nating base, say for example, school is the base. No, ito yung realidad, ito yung nakikita natin physically. And number two, we have superstructure. Ano ba ang naipoproduce ng school? Basically, number one, education. Number two, wisdom. Number three, knowledge. Number four, skills. Okay? These are superstructure. Big sabihin, these are ideologies or ideas, no, na i-produce dahil merong base. Okay? And that is literature. Sa literature, ang basis natin, in order for us to understand, no, a specific literary piece, ano ba yung pinagmulan niya? Ano ba ang basis nito? No, say for example, nanood tayo or nagbasa tayo ng isang horror film. No? Halimbawa, Sadako, ganyan. So, it's a Japanese movie. Or ang basis niya is a Japanese folklore or paniniwala about Sadako. No? Ano ba ang basis niya? So, say for example, nakwento, may buhay na isang babae, ganyan-ganyan. So, ito ang nangyari sa totoong buhay, etc. Nahulog siya sa balon, and so on and so forth. No? So, that's the base, that's the reality. And what's the superstructure? Anong naiproduce nun? No, number one, syempre, takot. Number two, ano pa? Pangamba. Syempre, nag-aalala ka, sadako might come to you or whatnot, etc. No? That's superstructure. No? In order for you to be immersed, no, with the idea that the author wanted to portray or wanted to share with you, no, you have to understand base and the superstructure, no, yung pinagmulan at pinanggalingan ng isang literary piece at ano yung naipoproduce niya. Marx's approach relates literary text to the society, no, mostly inilalapit ng isang Marxist, no, yung society sa mga magbabasa, no, especially para sa mga mayayaman, no, kung mababasa natin yung latha ng La Solidaridad ni La Jose Rizal, no, pinatutungkulan niya yung mga taong nasa kapangyarihan, mga taong mayayaman, na magbigay ng focus at atensyon, no, sa nangyayari sa lipunan, sa kabuuan. No? What else? To the history and cultural and political system to which it is created. It does not consider a literary text devoid of its writer and the influences on the writer. Okay? So there is one term that we need to consider and we need to remember when we're talking about Marxism. You have to take note of this. The word is alienation. Okay? Alienation is connected to Marxism. Pag sinabi natin alienation, it is looking at the way the workers are living and how this specifically affects their overall well-being. No, nanonood ako sa Netflix ngayon ng isang docu-series. Ang title niya ay The Lost Pirate Kingdom. Hindi ako nagkakamali, no? And it talks about the history of piracy. Paano ba nabuo ang mga pirata, no, etc., no? And pinakita doon that they are na-discuss doon that yung ibang mga pirata nanggaling siya sa mga slave na mga slave ships, no, or mga ships na nagdadala ng mga slaves mula sa Africa papuntang US or America or even sa Europe, no? So uso pa nun ng slave trade, no, na ang gusto nila ay lumaya sila mula sa pagkaalipin and whatnot. And then ang nangyari is nakalaya sila sa pamamagitan ng pagbubuo ng isang piracy or pagbuo ng isang pirata. Okay? Pinakita dun sa movie na yun or sa docu-series na yun, yung hirap na dinaranas ng mga slaves or ng mga taong nagtatrabaho, ng mga may hirap, no, sa kamay ng mga kapitalista. Okay? Or ng mga burgis. This is because the workers in a capitalist society do not own the materials with which they produce and thus are owned by the capitalists to force the workers to sell their labor power or their ability to work for money or wages, no? Pinapakita ng Marxism din ang realidad ng buhay ng isang manggagawa. Dahil ikaw ay manggagawa, wala kang karapatan sa lahat ng mga gamit na ginagamit mo sa trabaho. Say for example, kami mga teachers kami, gumagamit kami ng PC sa school, no? We are just workers ng school and we don't own our computers. Hindi naman siya pwedeng iuwi. Right? Ganon din, no, sa mga modules na nasa school, no? Hindi siya amin. After namin siyang checkan, iwan namin siya sa school, okay? For tracing purposes, no? Pag chinek yung mga grades na binibigay namin, pwede na lang tingnan yung mga scores na nilalagay namin sa modules and whatnot. Okay? And dito sa Pilipinas, no, very limited lang yung mga topics or mga movies or series na mapapanood natin na nagbibigay focus sa mga taong manggagawa or sa mga may hirap, no? Madalas ang pinapakita lang ay ang isang mahirap tapos paano siya yumaman or ano yung mga pinagdaanan niyang hirap. But yung pinaka pagtatrabaho, no, yung focus tungkol sa kanyang pagtatrabaho, ano yung mga sakripisyo niyang ginagawa, etc., na very limited. Sa ngayon, no, meron tayong existing na series sa GMA, no, First Yaya, pinapakita din yung buhay ng isang katulong ng mga yaya. Ano pa? Meron din isang palabas, no, sa pelikula dati, if I'm not mistaken, no, hindi ko maalala kung ilang taon na nakalipas, yung kila Catherine at saka yung kay Alden, Hello Love Goodbye, no? Pinakita doon yung hirap ng isang OFW, no, yung kanyang mga sakripisyo, ang lahat ng kanyang mga ginawang mga effort at trabaho, no. So that's alienation, no? Immersing yourself to the situation of a worker and how these workers strive, no? Ano yung mga sacrifices na ginagawa nila in order for them to survive. That is the main goal of alienation, and that's the purpose of Marxism. Gusto niya ipakita sa mas maraming audience, no, ang sitwasyon na kinabibilangan ng mga taong nasa ilalim ng kapitalista o pamamahala ng mga kapitalista or mga burgis. Marxism looks at the class struggles between the capitalists and the proletariat or yung mga workers. It intends to analyze the relationship between these two and how the relationship affects both sides, but most especially focusing on proletariat, as what I mentioned a while ago. This struggle also affects you because in the near future, siguro 5 or 6 years mula ngayon, you'll be you'll be in the working class as well, no? 5 taon or 6 na taon mula ngayon, nagtatrabaho ka na din. Okay? Either ikaw ay nagtatrabaho or ikaw ay businessman, no? Kung saan merong tao na magtatrabaho para sa'yo. Okay? So, bilang mga estudyante, ngayon pa lang, mahalaga maunawaan natin, no, yung focus ng Marxism. Para hindi kayo dumating sa punto na kayo ay maging mga burgis, no? Halimbawa, kayo ay nagmamay-ari na ng mga malalaking mga kumpanya, no? Pag nangyari yun, huwag nyo kaming kakalimutan. Okay? So, halimbawa, kayo ay ng mga burgis na, kayo ay bahagi na ng mga ng social class, no? Kayo ay mga mayayaman, ganyan. No? Hindi niyo titingnan yung mga manggagawa ninyo na manggagawa lang. You look at them as they are persons. They are people with feelings, with emotion, no? At kapag naging manggagawa ka naman, you work hard, no? In order syempre, for you to earn, for you to survive, no? On top of that, syempre, you work for your company, no? Syempre with all your heart, no? You do it not just for the sake of money, but you do it for the purpose of helping the economy of your company. Okay? So, what are the sample literary pieces na may kitaan natin ng Marxism? No? Si Terry Eagleton, pininuduce niya yung Marxism Literary Criticism noong 1976. Doon napakarami natin may kita daw mga discussion or thorough discussion about proletariat and what do you call this? Burgess or yung mga capitalist, no? Ito hindi ko masyado siyang binasa, no? Ang ginawa ko lang is in-skim and scan ko lang, no, yung book, no? And talagang marami tayong mapulot diyan, no? What else? Frederick Jameson, Marxism and Form 1971, and yung kanyang Political Unconsciousness noong 1981. No? And napakarami natin yung mababasa information more on about Marxism from this link. So I have hypertext there, https /natureofwriting.com/etc. and etc. So you may screenshot this part, no? Tapos pwede nyong visit yung link na yan in order for you to gather more information about Marxism. Okay, so let's proceed or head towards formalism. This is a second approach in order for us to easily understand or analyze a specific literary piece. Okay, so the second is formalism, which is partly based on Ferdinand de Saussure's idea of semiotics and how signs and symbols may bring about a new meaning in a literary text. Na sinasabi ni Ferdinand de Saussure, kapag meron kang isang statement, naglagay ka ng tuldok, no, nababago yung meaning or definition ng isang statement. Pag yung tuldok pinalitan mo ng question mark, nababago yung statement. Nababago yung meaning, nababago yung definition. Pag naglagay ka dyan ng anong tawag dito? Exclamation point. Nababago rin yung tone. Nababago yung pitch. Okay? Nababago yung meaning, yung definition. Say for example, you have the word, I love you. Tapos, it's in a statement form. It's a narrative form, no? Sabihin, tuldok yung nasa dulo. So, it's a statement that I love you. Diba? I have affection with you. No? Meron akong pagtingin or pagmamahal, no, sa'yo. Pero say for example, no, yung tuldok doon sa statement na yon, pinalitan natin ng question mark. I love you. 'Di ba? Nagbabago yung meaning. Ang nangyari is mula sa isang sure na mahal kita, ganyan. Ang nangyari is mahal ba kita? 'Di ba? Nagtatanong ka na ngayon. 'Di ba? Kaya ang isang tuldok o ang isang ano tawag dito, ang isang sign, isang symbol, malaki ang naibibigay niyang malaki ang naibibigay niyang epekto sa definition ng isang text. Pero pag ginawa mo yung, anong tawag dito? Siyempre, kapag question mark yun, nakakagalit yun, no? Nakakainis yun. Pero pag ginawa mo yung exclamation point, punong-puno ng joy yun. I love you, di ba? Andun yung emotion. No? And masaya masaya siya sa tenga pakinggan. No? Sabi diyan, formalism aims to look at different medium in which literary text or literature is written. Okay? So, more than that, it aims to look at how literature, most especially poetry, most especially sa poem natin may kita to, no, artistically alter or renew the everyday common language in which everyone speaks. So, they come up with a defamiliarized work of art that is new to the senses. No, ano po yung defamiliarized? Defamiliarization, this is a term that you have to consider, you have to understand, no? Okay? About formalism, defamiliarization is the idea to focus on the form and technique used in literature rather than its content. Mamaya, I'll be showing you a poem. Hindi siya kabuuan ng poem but it's just a version or a part of the poem by T.S. Eliot. No? So that poem has its meaning, yes. Okay? Pero, hindi natin pagpapokusan ano yung meaning ng tula na yon. Ano bang gusto niyang sabihin doon sa tula? Ang pagpapokusan natin is paano ginawa yung tula na yon, ano yung mga napansin nating pagbabago or kakaiba doon sa ginawang tula. Titingnan natin yung mga signs and symbols na ginamit. Titingnan natin yung language na ginamit. Titingnan natin yung spaces na ginamit doon sa tula. Okay? What else? So that literature becomes an autonomous form of art which may stand on its own without its content, no? So even without understanding the entire content, no, ano ba yung definition niya, without understanding, no, ano ba yung meaning or ano ba yung message na gusto niya i-portray, no, alisin natin 'yon, mag-focus tayo sa kung paano niya 'yon hinulma, paano niya 'yon ginawa. Defamiliarization is the artistic technique of presenting to audiences common things in an unfamiliar or strange way so they could gain new perspective and see the world differently. According to the Russian formalist, it is the central concept of art and poetry. So, ito na yon, papakita ko sa inyo, The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, no? So, dito tayo mag-focus sa una, and then dito naman yung pangalawa. Okay? So, itong tula na to, you have to take down notes, 3 things na napansin ninyo nakakaiba dito sa tula. Okay? So again, wag natin pag-focusan yung what do you call this? Wag natin pag-focusan yung content, yung meaning or yung definition ng tula, but instead we'll focus more on how it was created. Ano yung mga kakaibang bagay na napansin natin doon sa tula or uncommon, mga bagay na uncommon na hindi natin madalas nakikita sa isang literary piece or sa isang tula. Okay? So, bibigyan ko kayo ng 3 minutes per slide in order for you to take down notes yung mga bagay na napansin ninyo. Pwedeng spaces, no? Pwedeng yung paggamit ng signs and symbols, pwedeng paggamit ng language, no? Yung paggamit ng letters, no? Etc. and etc. So this is The Burial of the Dead, is the first part of The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. And your 3 minutes starts now. Ayan. So, naalala ko, no, ito pala ay recorded video na. So, no need na ituloy yung 3 minutes. So, you may pause. So, pwede naman pala yun sa YouTube, no? So, i-pause nyo yung video pag aaralin nyo na yung, ano, yung tawa ko bigla, naalala ko, nga pala, hindi pa to live discussion, no? Video pala to. So, pwede nyo i-pause yung video, no? Para ma-take down notes nyo per slide. So, next slide tayo. This is 5 slides. Napakahaba ng tula na to. So, yung mga iti-take down notes ninyo, please make sure na i-notes nyo siya kasi ita-type ninyo siya sa comment section sa ibaba. No? That's part of your attendance. So, attendance nyo ay pangalan, section, tapos yung mga napansin ninyo, okay? 1, 2, and 3. And ayun na i-post ninyo sa comment section. Okay? This is the second slide. You may pause it for a while. No? Tapos, i-take down notes ninyo ano mga napansin ninyo dito. So, ano po ba yun, sir? Per slide po ba? 3? No. Kabuuan na yon. 5 slide, 3 lang yung ino-notes ninyo. Okay? Tapos, halimbawa, sir, yung paggamit po ng comma. Bakit? No? Ano yung napansin nyo doon? Sir, yung paggamit po ng ganito, ganyan. Paggamit ng ibang language or whatnot. Bakit? Okay? Next slide tayo. Again, you may pause it, no? I-pause nyo yung video, and then after nun, saka kayo basahin nyo yung tula. Tapos, i-take down notes nyo yung mga bagay na pansin ninyo. Pwede po ba, sir, lagpas ng 3 kapag marami kami napansin? Sure. Kung very observant kayo, much better. Next slide tayo. This is the second to the last slide, no? Napakaganda ng tula na to ni T.S. Eliot. It's just that yung meaning niya, wasteland din, no? Very wasteland, no? If you're going to focus on the content or in the meaning, no, it would be hard for you to understand it. But if you're going to take a look at the letters, the words, even yung mga symbols na ginamit ni T.S. Eliot, mas madali para sa atin maunawaan yung kabuuan ng tula. Okay? Last slide tayo. Ayan. So, this would be the last slide of The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. Okay, so again, pwede nyo i-pause yung video in order for you to analyze it very much, no? Very well, no? Mas paaral nyo pa yung tula and whatnot. So, please, wag kayong no? Wag kayong mag-Google. Wag nyo i-search sa internet. So, mas maganda na matetest yung inyong skills if you're going to do it on your own. Okay? Okay, so that's it for the poem, no? So if you wanted to learn more about formalism, you may visit Victor Ehrlich's Russian Formalism 1955, no? Theorie de littérature 1965, which is a translation by Tsvetan Todorov of important Russian text. Anthologies in English include L.T. Lemon and M.J. Rice, Ed's Russian Formalist Criticism in 1965, L. Mateka and K. Pomorska. Lahat to kung papansin natin ng mga Russian kasi most of the formalists ay Russian. Dahil galing to sa Russia. Ano pa? Ed's Reading in Russian Poetics 1971 and Stephen Bann and John Bolt, Ed's Russian Formalism in 1973. So this will be the third approach in understanding a literary piece, no, which is the post-colonialism literature. Kung papansin natin, no, sa kabuuan ng Asia, napakadami ng mga bansa na nasakop ng Western countries as well as Asian countries, no. The extensive history of colonialism in Asia cannot be denied. That's very much accurate. Almost all Asian countries had been colonized in some way or another. In response to this long history of colonization and the aftermath of it, literature has begun to tackle these prevailing issues in society. No? So dahil nga ang Asia ay dominant, no, sa ano daw, no, sa colonialism or being colonized, no, by larger countries or much powerful countries by that time, or by that specific era or period, no? So, mas nagkaroon ng interest ang mga authors and writers sa post-colonialism literature. It's the era or theory that's developed after a certain colony gains independence from its mother country. So, na-discuss natin last time, no, yung East Timor sa Southeast Asia, no, yung isang bansa na kakalaya lang mula sa pagkaalipin. Noong 1975 sa Portugal, tapos nung 2002 naman sa Indonesia, nakalaya sila sa Indonesia, no. From then nabuo, no, ang mga post-colonialists, tapos yung kanilang mga literary pieces, no. Syempre dahil kakalayan nila sa pagkaalipin sa kanila, no. Doon pa lang na talagang umapoy yung kanilang pagiging patriotic or pagiging nationalistic. Same din sa Pilipinas, 'di ba? Nung nakalaya ang Pilipinas, napakadaming mga Pilipino ang gumawa ng pangalan sa larangan ng literatura. Okay? Post-colonialism looks at these colonial countries and sees how being colonized has affected their political, economic, and social climate. What else? Post-colonialism analyzes this particular text by reading the text in a specific and critical way. Now, post-colonialism asks the reader to analyze and expound on the effects of colonialization and imperialism on the characters. So, ang focus ng post-colonialism ay maunawaan, maintindihan, no, ano ba ang sitwasyon at buhay ng mga taong sinakop at ano yung future na naghihintay para sa kanila. It also seeks to look at the way the powers of the colonizers are extended beyond their colonial era and into the future of the colonized country. No? Ano yung mga bagay na naimpluwensya sa kanila ng kanilang mga mananakop, no? Even sa atin sa Pilipinas, 'di ba, may mga bagay pa rin na hindi tayo maalis. Especially sa language, no? May mga language, may mga Spanish terms pa rin tayong ginagamit in our day-to-day discourse. Same thing with English, no? Especially English kasi sobrang minahal natin yung paggamit ng salitang English. Especially English is very much widely used, no? Hindi lang naman sa Pilipinas kundi sa ibang bansa. Okay? So, it's a way to counteract with how the colonized have held onto the colonizers is through the term decolonization. Kung paano tayong lalaya mula sa pagkaalipin, no? Say for example, no, katulad ng sinasabi ko kanina, yung mga language or lengguwahe, no? Bakit gano'n? Napapansin natin 333 years tayong sinakop ng Spain, pero hindi naman tayo naging bihasa sa paggamit ng Spanish na salita, no? Pwera lang sa isang lugar sa Mindanao, Zamboanga, if I'm not mistaken, no. Gumagamit pa rin sila ng Spanish terminologies in their discourse, no? Or may impluwensya pa rin ng Spanya ang kanilang lengguwahe. Ingay ng aso, gabing-gabi na. Anong oras na ba? 12:56 na, no? Ingay pa rin. Okay, what else? Paano natin siya aalisin mula sa ating sistema? That's decolonization. Na pag pinag-usapan natin ang post-colonialism or post-colonial literature, ito naman yung bagay na dapat nating tandaan. Decolonization. Decolonialization is the intellectual process of returning to the former independence that colonies have enjoyed before the colonizers came. No? Ibabalik natin yung sistema, ibabalik natin yung dating meron ang isang bansa, no, bago pa siya masakop. Say for example, Pilipinas, no, prior to Magellan, no, and Elcano, ano ba ang meron ng Pilipinas? We have barangay. Kaya after ng pananakop ng mga Amerikano, ng mga Hapon, no, ano bang ginawa? Ibinalik natin yung sistema ng paggamit ng barangay. We have cities, municipalities or munisipyo. No, those are the effects of the colonizers. No, what else? Here, the pervading ideas, the cultural practices, and beliefs that were integrated and taught by the colonizers may be deconstructed from the minds of the natives. No, kung ano man yung mga bagay na i-instill sa atin ng mga mananakop, aalisin natin yun sa ating sistema. 'Di ba? Una, syempre paggamit ng lengguwahe, no? Pangalawa, yung pagbibigay focus sa simbahang Katoliko bilang basehan ng kapangyarihan. Kaya 'di ba nagkaroon ng paghahati, 'di ba? We have the separation of the church and the state, no? So in-apply natin yung isang batas, no, galing sa Amerika, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, galing yun sa US, no, the separation of the church and the state, no. So before kasi nung mga mananakop, no, yes, meron tayong gobernadorcillo pero nakabase pa rin yun sa sa Santo Papa or even sa mga priest ng kapangyarihan. Okay? So what else? Um Ayan. Taught by the colonists construct ng natives. It is an extensive and exhaustive process of change. Siyempre, tayo sa Pilipinas for 333 years, we have been colonized by Spain. No? And it's hard to take away all the things na naituro nila sa atin. No? Meron ba? Parang, hindi. Ano na lang, siguro America na lang, no? For 10 years, nabigyan tayo ng process of change ng Amerika. No? Nasa gayon, tayo ay mula sa pagka-alipin, no, we transform into a fully independent country, no. So America na lang siguro. Okay, what else? Eliminating the fetters that binds the colonies. Pag natin fetters, no, ito yung parang um, a connector, no, that connects us with the colonizers, no. Regaining power that was lost upon colonization. So that's decolonization from the word itself, no, yung salitang D, no, ibig sabihin you take it out. Tapos colonization, no, the process of being colonized. So we take out or we release, no, tinatanggal natin yung mga epekto ng colonization, no, sa ating sistema, sa social, political, and um, literature. Okay? So, ano ba yung mga sample literary pieces na mababasahan natin ng decolonization? Number 1, yung Murphy na sinulat ni Samuel Beckett, 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Midnight's Children by Samuel Rushdie, or naman yan. Now, Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. Hirap ng mga salita, hirap ng mga pangalan na itong mga to, no? Seasons of Migration to the North by Tayeb Salih, Beloved by Toni Morrison, and Waiting for the Barbarians by J.M. Coetzee. So sa mga literary piece na to, no, kung kayo ay immersed sa history at kung kayo ay sobrang mapagmahal sa mga tao, ganyan, etc., no, sa mga taong nasakop or colonized or what, ang paghihirap nila, so bagay na bagay ito para sa inyo. Okay? Pero kung wala naman kayong pake at kiber lang kayo sa nangyari sa mundo, no? So, meron pa rin kayong matututunan at maunawaan, no? As you read along these stories, these poems, these short stories, no? Sa under ng decolonization. Okay? Or post-colonial literature. So I hope that you've learned something from today's discussion with regards to the three different approaches to literary criticism. Again, we have Marxism. Next, we have post-colonial literature. And the last, syempre, ano nga yung the last? Nakalimutan na, diba? Okay, sabog na kasi madaling araw na, no? Marxism, we have formalism, and then yung pangatlo ay post-colonial literature. So I do hope that you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much. Ano bang sections to, no? For Thursday, we have Balayong, Maritima, and Almasiga. And for those students na babalikan ang discussion na to, kayo Manis and Cervera, thank you very much. Don't forget to take down notes, no, the things that you have learned from today's discussion. Katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, no, you have take note yung mga napansin niyo dun sa tula. This is for the 3 sections na natitira kasi ginawa namin tong recitation sa ibang sa ibang klase, no? Sa Cervera at sa Kayumanis ginawa namin tong recitation, no? So para sa Maritima, Almasiga at Balayong, this will be part of your recitation. You have to take note of the things na napansin ninyo or mga bagay na napansin nyo dun sa tula ni T.S. Eliot. Okay? So, that's it for today. Again, thank you very much for listening. No? Sabaw na ang sir nyo. Kaya, pagbigyan nyo na, even yung boses. No? Kasi, I'm only recording this from my phone because, naalala ko tuloy si Chris Aquino because, dito yung laptop ko ay pagod na, no? Hindi ko alam anong nangyari sa kanya. But anyways, anyhow, thank you very much again. Always take care. You always stay safe. God bless you and thank you for listening. Okay? Goodbye and like and subscribe. Char.